Hey there, and welcome to this explainer. Look, if you're tuning in today, I'm guessing you are a busy adult musician. You're juggling work, professional responsibilities, personal commitments, and somewhere in that crazy chaotic mix, you're trying to actually learn an instrument, right? For us, time is literally the most valuable currency we have. Your practice sessions simply can't just be aimless wandering. They have got to be high yield. So for today, consider me your personal coach. We're going to take that super limited daily practice time of yours and absolutely maximize it. We're going to give you the secret weapon to completely transform your musical progression. Ready? Let's go.
But first, I need you to answer a question for me, and I need you to be completely honest. Do you always restart from bar 1 when you make a mistake? You know the drill. You're playing along, feeling good, you stumble, and bam, your hands fly right back to the beginning of the piece. It feels so natural, doesn't it? But I really want to highlight this right out of the gate, because it's actually a deeply frustrating habit that is just eating up your precious hard-earned practice time.
Okay, let's dive into this. That habit actually has a name. It's called playthrough-itis. It's that totally ineffective habit of just starting from the beginning, playing until a mistake happens, and then looping back. We need to firmly diagnose this right here, right now. This approach is not practice. It is literally just the repetition of errors. You are practicing the mistake over and over, kind of just hoping it magically fixes itself. Spoiler alert, it won't. We absolutely have to break this cycle.
So here's today's coaching plan. First up, curing that playthrough-itis. Second, your practice notebook strategy. Third, the TMEP practice stages. Fourth, becoming a musical detective. And finally, reflecting on your growth. We are going to completely overhaul your daily routine today.
All right, let's kick things off with Section 1, Curing Playthrough-itis. Time to stop the marathon and start the sprint.
In the Trick-or-Tray Music Education Program, the ultimate antidote to this mindless grind is sectional practice. This is the S in their STAVE framework, and it fundamentally reframes our effort. You have got to start treating pieces as manageable sprints rather than a grueling marathon. Think about it. When you try to tackle the entire piece all at once, you're staring at the massive big picture, which, let's be real, usually just leads to massive frustration. Instead, we need to shrink what we call your grow zone. That's the specific, isolated section of music you're actually targeting. By shrinking that grow zone down to just a few bars, you secure these small, daily, totally measurable victories. And stacking those daily victories, that is exactly how you achieve exponential progress.
Moving right along to Section 2, your practice notebook strategy. This is all about planning for success.
To execute those daily sprints effectively, you need a physical toolkit. So here is your action strategy. Number 1, literally go buy a physical notebook, a real one. Number 2, write down your weekly focus items longhand. Trust me, there is serious power in putting pen to paper. 3, date your practice and detail exactly what your specific focus point is for that session. 4, and please pay close attention to this one, summarize your progress proactively. You want to improve, not just be a harsh critic of your own failures. Actually, scratch that. Practice is about making mistakes so you can fix them. So, instead of writing, "I completely missed the jump," reframe it. Right? The jump was nearly accurate. Keep it focused on improvement. And 5, set tomorrow's practice focus in the book before you even pack your instrument away today. Set your future self up for success.
Okay, so your notebook is ready to go. But what actually happens when your hands touch the instrument? That brings us to Section 3, the TMEP practice stages, your high-yield blueprint. We're going to structure the actual time you spend playing. And this brilliantly illustrates the clear roadmap of how your sectional practice is going to evolve. We start at Stage 1, Foundation, where we establish a single-line flow. Then we hit Stage 2, Development, achieving phrase-level continuity. Stage 3 is Refining, doing those surgical deep dives. And finally, Stage 4, Autonomy. That's where you independently self-diagnose your own snacks. You're basically evolving from just building basic momentum all the way up to complete artistic autonomy. Let's break these down a little more.
So, in Stage 1, your goal is simple, but man, it is incredibly challenging for early learners. It's called establishing the no-stop line. You literally have to play one single line of music without stopping, not even at the bar lines. I know the temptation is to pause the absolute second a finger slips. You have got to resist that urge. Playing through those visual breaks on the page builds a sort of neural bridge. It teaches your hands that the music remains continuous. No matter what, keep moving.
Let's move to and see how this builds into Stage 2. Once your technical foundation from Stage 1 is rock solid, you shift from that basic momentum of single lines into what we call musical sentences or phrases.
Now, a phrase typically spans 2 to 4 bars, right, and it represents a complete musical thought. So here, you aren't just looking at the next note anymore. You are actually looking and listening for the punctuation at the end of the phrase. It's like you're creating a coherent, flowing conversation rather than just reciting a random list of notes.
But what happens when you inevitably hit a wall? Enter stage 3, the refine and expand method. This is where your practice gets totally surgical. Instead of playing the entire piece just to reach that one tricky section, you isolate that specific, problematic bar and you refine it until it's buttery smooth. But wait, you don't stop there. Once you've mastered it, you have to expand it by stitching it right back into its surrounding context. Basically, you play the bar before, the tricky bar itself, and then the bar after. This is exactly how you guarantee a totally seamless transition back into the fabric of the piece.
Which brings us to the highest level of sectional practice. Section 4, the musical detective. This is stage 4 autonomy.
At this advanced stage, you are taking the reins. You become your own coach. You rely entirely on what we call diagnostic listening. If you hear a lack of clarity in a trill, or even just a tiny hesitation in a chord, you don't just keep playing. No way. You stop immediately. You become the detective to independently diagnose the physical cause of that snag. Was it a tension issue? Did you use a weird fingering? Is your weight distribution slightly off? You identify it and you resolve it yourself. Seriously, that kind of self-awareness, it is the ultimate hallmark of an advanced musician.
All right, after an intense sprint of sectional practice like that, we've got to do some mental homework. Section 5, reflecting on your growth. Think of this as your cognitive cooldown.
To execute this cooldown properly, I want you to focus on a few key reflections. First up, commit to the process, not just the final performance. Ask yourself, how are these consistent, super small improvements actually redefining your identity as a musician? Second, take a moment to reflect on your grow zone. What specific bars were you really targeting today? And third, this is huge, integrate, don't isolate. Yes, we isolated bars to fix them, but you always have to ask yourself, how can I ensure my newly perfected sections actually serve the overall emotional narrative of the piece? Because at the end of the day, holistic musical growth means the technique always serves the emotion.
So as we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with a provocative thought to take right into your very next practice session. Which musical challenges are you currently avoiding that could absolutely be solved by applying a TMEP stage? Think about it. Next time you sit down to play, resist that overwhelming urge to start at bar 1. Shrink your grow zone, grab that physical notebook, and just watch how quickly your playing transforms. You've got this. Thanks so much for joining me today, and happy practicing.